You know, when you think about things that are happening on a national level between police and communities, there's a great concern. I think everyone is concerned about how safe they are and how good their police department is. And you know, Pensacola, Florida is America's first settlement. And with that being the case, there's a lot of rich history that from the very beginning we have enjoyed, and we reap the benefits of being America's first city. And in that history, we've had documented issues of racial tension that have many times surfaced in the midst of crisis, and certainly today with the environment on a national level of police and communities.
I think the most important thing when we think about public safety is, you know, from the mayor's position and from the chief of police position, it's so incredibly important to have that collaboration with our citizens. We've introduced Coffee with a Cop, the Pensacola Citizens Academy, where we can interact and our citizens can know the function of the police department. Obviously, we're out there fighting crime, but most importantly, having that relationship with the community.
The partnership between the NAACP and the police department has been one of trust and been one of transparency. And I keep using the word trust and transparency because I think that's one of your 6 pillars. But with that, the way you invited us in, the way you did your homework, the way you called and asked for a meet and greet, invited us in to come and know what our issues was and let us know about your administration and what that was about, that's trust, that's transparency. And through that, we formed a partnership and a relationship.
Since this is an alternative school here in Pensacola, Florida, our prior perception that our students had with local law enforcement was very negative. The stories that they had was about brutality or about just negative interactions out in the community with the police officer itself. So before the BLAST program came, I was a little nervous, a little anxious about presenting the program to them and how the students were actually going to accept the program.
Before the BLAST program, I felt that police officers were selfish and inconsiderate due to their position of power. And I guess I really had a lack of understanding of what a police officer actually was. After the program, it gave me a different insight on what police officers were and what their job was and mission was out here in society as they do their daily rants, is what I usually call it. Now I call it patrolling of the society or city to make sure that everything is what it's supposed to be. I realize that it's not all the police officers' fault that everything doesn't always go smooth. It's also the civilian people in my shoes. We also get out of hand, and I've realized that, you know, a lot of things without them, people would be the ones with the nasty attitudes.
Now our students even want to engage in conversation with the staff as well as other officers about law enforcement. Some of our students even want to pursue careers in the justice system, whether it's law enforcement or being lawyers. So the BLAST program overall opened the eyes of our students and our staff to how important policing in our communities are.
We're building relationships from the youngest in our community to the oldest. And that's one of the things that I think everyone has to keep in mind, is that with each generation, there are generational cultures. Youth will perceive police at various stages of their development. And of course, your younger kids are going to see us as heroes. But when you start to get into the middle school and the high school ages, police are authoritarians, police monitor behavior. So a lot of the freedoms and liberties that your younger generation are going to want to exercise, police appears to be a threat to that sometimes. So the more positive interaction they have with law enforcement, then they can realize that the police are acting on their best interests rather than as an adversary of theirs.
We know our #1 priority is obviously public safety, but most importantly, that the citizens understand that we want to work with them, whether it's solving a case or most importantly, knowing the day-to-day functions of what the police department does. And I think once our citizens know what we do, they feel far more comfortable. They feel comfortable with our officers on the street. But looking at that from our Pensacola Police Academy is very, very important. Those are things that we can do with the community to reinforce that we're working together as a team to make sure crime is down, but most importantly, that people feel safe in their community and they have a relationship with our law enforcement officers. Treating
people with dignity and respect, no man can ask for any more than that. That's all everyone asks for, regardless of race, creed, religion, sexual orientation. Respect is the most important thing, you know.
We're no different than another community. We're concerned about the safety of our citizens. We're concerned about relationships being improved, and that's why I'm confident in saying that our Pensacola Police Department is a 21st century policing agency because we focus our attention on being intentional, meaning that we're intentionally going out and interacting with citizens, building that trusting relationship that establishes our legitimacy with the public. And I believe that those are one of the first 6 pillars that personifies the 21st century policing department, is to build legitimacy and trusting relationships.